This game is abundant with fighters, which then creates the question, who's the best fighter? I'm Somnio, and I'll be going over who are the best fighters in Wizardry, Fairy, and Daphne. Before we begin, this video is heavily opinionated. Every character can be used and succeed if invested in and equipped with strong gear. I will be discussing why I've placed each character in their respective ranking. What I'll keep in mind about each character is their discipline, stat line, synergy, personal skill, enemies, and other various factors that matter per character. I'll also rank the adventurers assuming they are at least discipline level 1 unless mentioned otherwise. I'll start with the general and anonymous fighters, then end with the legendary ones. However, I can't start this tier list without talking about Lana. She's arguably the best fighter in the game after reclassing. The first reason that comes to mind is her personal skill Stirring Righteousness, increasing the damage dealt by the row if all allies are good or neutral. Fire typing is the best for fighters due to the extra strength, and humans are one of the better races for fighter. Third, her inheritable skill, Queen of Love and War, makes early game much more comfortable by providing after battle heals. I would say the first abyss is one of the harder parts of the game, and any adventure that makes it easier is a godsend. These reasons make Lana S+. Benjamin is up next, and he's who I would say is the best general fighter we have. Dwarves are the best race for pure offense, and Benjamin is no exception. His strength is tied for the highest among general fighters, with his biggest flaw being his low speed. Early game, it is a bit of an issue, but once you're able to get enough action speed to move before your mages and after enemies, he's a powerhouse you won't regret raising. His discipline, increasing attack and defense, is nearly perfect for a fighter too. His personal skill is also quite useful, dealing and taking less damage from magical beasts. Being neutral means he can frontline with Lana, which is a plus. With all this in mind, Benjamin sits at the top of A+. Elise is a very interesting fighter due to her personal skill, Impartial Collaborator. She increases the damage dealt by allies and herself either in front or behind her if both adventurers are neutral. By having herself in the front row and a neutral ally behind her, she can get 2 instances of damage increasing by her personal skill and Lana's, more than making up for her lower strength stat. However, the strict team building is also a con for Elise. With this in mind, she does sit at the edge of A+. Olive on paper is an odd fighter. Being an elf, her strength stat is much lower compared to human and dwarf fighters. Her discipline does shine through here, as it gives bonuses to her attack power and defense, similar to Benjamin, which is a very good thing. Her inheritable skill isn't very useful, so getting her to a higher discipline is realistic. However, if you can't, she does lose her luster. For that, she'll sit in A. Elba, similar to Olive, has low strength due to his race. Elba is an adventurer that has very little going on for him compared to his fellow fighters, boasting an awkward discipline and a comically higher IQ. Him being evil also makes him not compatible with Lana, which only cements his poor kit. I would recommend you change his class to mage, but even then he's outdone by different dark mages. He's a very easy B+. Chloe, our only natural bespoke fighter, is a solid investment. Being fire and a bespoke gives her decent strength and speed. Her personal skill, increasing damage and taking less from adventurers, is useful due to them appearing in most areas of the game. Similar to Olive, her inheritable skill isn't too great, so getting a high discipline is possible. Thus, she'll be an A next to Olive. Human Fighter is the anonymous adventurer for fighters. His discipline and personal skill increase attack power, which makes him hit deceptively strong. It's also quite easy to level his discipline, but is often used to grant others an increase to their attack power via inheritance. If you raise him, you won't be disappointed. I would say this lands him in the middle of A. Aelia is similar to Chloe and Olive. Her personal skill grants her accuracy and increased damage to flying creatures. Her discipline focuses on evasion and action speed, which is great for dodge tanking. But since Olive's discipline grants attack power, and Chloe has better stats due to her race and element, Aelia is near the end of A. Gandolfo's personal skill allows him to cast fighter skills for less. In early game, it's quite valuable, as more uses of heavy attack without going back to the inn is a godsend. However, once reaching higher levels, your SP pool will increase enough where most characters can spam skills for a good few encounters. You also can inherit Deborah's skill on any fighter, recovering SP per kill. His stats are a bit better than most of the adventurers currently in A, but his discipline not focusing on attack and instead on surety prevents him from being A+. He's also evil, which would force him to be a backline fighter if you have Lana. Overall, this sets him a solid A. Castan is in a very similar position to Gandolfo. Once again, an evil fighter isn't a death sentence, but does force him to the backlines if you have Lana. His personal skill increases damage dealt and reduces damage taken from demi-humans. His discipline focuses on evasion and poison tolerance, which is pretty middling. His inheritance is also pretty good for other fighters, so getting him with a high discipline will be quite a challenge. I would say this lands him at the top of B+. Venus is a limited legendary fighter. Her inheritable skill, Flutter Dream Flash, allows her to strike a random enemy at the start of battle with a chance to decrease accuracy. This skill alone puts Venus in S tier. This attack can crit, inflict other debuffs like defense down or paralysis if you have weapons that can do such, and do extra damage to certain enemy types if the weapon allows it. She's an amazing quality of life adventurer for auto-battling teams. Her discipline is also pretty good, increasing attack power alongside confusion and charm tolerance. Her personal skill also provides increased damage dealt and damage reduced from magical beasts. The final fighter we'll be talking about is Seralf. The Fire Dwarf is a perfect combo for a fighter all about dealing the highest damage possible. Once again, dwarves are quite slow, but with proper gear, this problem can be mitigated. Seralf's discipline is ideal as it increases his attack power and surety, both stats fighters want. The biggest downside to Seralf is his evilness. He would have to be played in the back with a spear or a bow if you have Lana in the front. However, this then makes his inheritable skill, Eruption Strike, not running at max strength. If you need a fighter to deal the most damage possible, I would choose him, giving him S tier. Do you have any thoughts about who the best fighter is? I'd love to talk about it in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and until then,